All right, let's look at the homework 1.1, problem number 4. All right, so we have this function given, h of x is equal to square root of 25 minus x squared. And we want to find its domain and its range. All right, so let's do that. All right, so let's do the domain. So remember that when you have a square root, we have to make sure that expression inside the square root must be non-negative. So write notation. So you have a 25 minus x squared. So that's the expression inside the square root. Non-negative. So that means that it has to be greater than or equal to 0. All right. To solve inequality, we can do this. So first, we pretend that this is equality. All right. So you have a 25 minus x squared. All right. So let's solve the equality first. Is equal to 0. All right. So here, 25 is luckily 5 squared. So we can factor it out as 5 minus x and 5 plus x, right? And this is equal to 0, right? So you can see that this is going to just give you x values positive 5 and a negative 5. So x is equal to, I'll just say plus or minus 5, right? So this is equality, but we want inequality. So what we can do is draw a number line, just a simple number line. All right, so this is the x-axis. All right, so I'm going to put a tick marks. So it's a negative 5, should be on the left side, and the positive 5 should be on the right side because it's bigger. All right, so we have 3 sections, 3 subintervals. We can just pick any number we want to see if this expression is going to give you positive or negative, right? So I'll just try a sample number. So I'm going to just write down a sample number. So anything less than negative 5, so I'll try negative 6. All right, so that's a sample number. All right, so if you plug in negative 6 into for x, so 25 minus negative 6 squared, which would be minus 36, which is going to be negative, excuse me. So we know that this is negative there, but we want the non-negative, right? And we can try another, so anything between negative 5 and positive 5, so I'll try 0, right? If you plug in 0, 25 minus 0 is 25, which is positive, right, which is what we want. And we can try anything bigger than 5, so I'll try 6 again this time. All right, if you plug in 6, 25 minus 36, it's going to be negative, so you have a negative sign there, right? But since we want the non-negative, we want either a positive or 0. You can include, so you should probably include, so here we should include the 0 and anything between negative 5 and the positive 5 and including 5. All right, so we know that x has to be between negative 5 and positive 5. So we have x has to be, so this tells you that x is between negative 5 and a positive 5, right? Including negative 5 and positive 5. So in an interval notation, we can write it this way. So it's a negative 5 to positive 5, including those endpoints. So that in the interval notation, we know that this is going to be a square bracket negative 5 and a positive 5 with the right square bracket. All right, so let's type it in. All right, domain is going to be, so square bracket, you have negative 5 to positive 5. All right, let's check the answer. All right, it came back and looks like we got the domain correctly. All right, so let's do the range. Actually, before we do the range, I'm going to actually do the graph because it makes it easier to find the range, right? So what kind of graph would you get for h of x, right? So I'm going to just write it this way. If you recognize it straight away, that'll be nice. But if you don't, maybe we can do this, right? So I'm going to replace h of x with y, right? So this is the function, right? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I don't like square roots, so maybe I'll get rid of square root by square both sides. So you have y squared is equal to 25 minus x squared, right? Then I'm going to just shove this negative x squared over to the other side by simply adding x squared to both sides, right? So you have x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. 25 is 5 squared, so I'm going to write it this way, 5 squared, right? So hopefully you recognize this equation. This is an equation of a circle with radius 5 centered at the origin. So it looks like this. All right, so here's the x-axis, and here's the y-axis, and the center is at the origin, so it's right here, and the radius is 5. So let's see, hopefully we can do a decent circle here. All right, freehand. All right, so this is a circle, right? Then radius is 5, which means that the 5 is right here, 5 is there, negative 5 is there, and y is negative 5 down there. All right, but we have to be a little bit careful. All right, the original equation is y equals square root of 25 minus x squared. So since it's a positive, so it never gets the bottom half. It actually only takes care of the top half of the circle, so top semicircle. Right, so that's this guy right here. Right, the bottom is actually the negative version of the very similar formula. It's a negative of square root of 25 minus x squared. Right, remember that when you square it, negative side goes away, so we really can't tell the difference. Right, but the original one is only the top half. All right, so once you've done that, we can actually answer this question, right? So which is the correct picture? All right, you can see that it's a top semicircle, so I'm going to check that, and let's check the answer. All right, I came back, and looks like we got the correct picture there. All right, so once you have a picture, it's fairly easy to find the range, right? Range is basically the collection of possible y values, right? So y value is you know, the up and down. All right, so look at this picture. So what will be the lowest value it can get? So you can see that the lowest point is either here or there. Actually, it's a tie, right? So here y value is 0 and y value is 0, and then it could go up and up, and the largest y value it can get is 5. So the y value only takes between 0 and 5, including 0 and including 5. So therefore, our range is going to be starting from 0, including 0, to 5. All right, so let's check the answer. All right, I came back, and looks like we got the range correctly as well. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.